Hey there, space explorers! Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what it would be like to actually go up there? To float among the stars and see Earth from space? Well, today we're going on an amazing journey to discover when humans first reached space. Get ready because this story is absolutely incredible. For thousands of years, humans could only dream about going to space. Ancient people looked up at the stars and made up stories about them. They wondered what was out there. But actually getting to space? That seemed impossible. People didn't have rockets or spacesuits. They didn't even have airplanes yet. But humans are pretty clever. We kept learning, inventing, and dreaming bigger dreams. In the early 1900s, scientists started figuring out how rockets could work. They realized that if you could make something go fast enough, really fast, it could escape Earth's gravity and reach space. But how fast is fast enough? You'd need to go about 25,000 miles per hour. That's incredibly fast. During the 1950s, two powerful countries, the United States and the Soviet Union, were competing to see who could achieve amazing things in space first. This competition was called the space race. Both countries wanted to prove they were the best at science and technology, and this competition led to one of the most exciting moments in human history. So when did a human actually reach space for the very first time? Are you ready for this? It happened on April 12, 1961. That's the day that changed everything. A Soviet cosmonaut named Yuri Gagarin became the first human being to travel into space. Can you imagine how he must have felt? Yuri Gagarin was 27 years old. He climbed into a tiny spacecraft called Vostok 1. The spacecraft was barely bigger than a closet. Inside, there was just enough room for Yuri to sit in his seat. He couldn't even stand up. He was strapped in tight, wearing a bright orange spacesuit and a round helmet. The rocket that would carry him to space was called Vostok K. It was as tall as a 10-story building and filled with fuel. On the morning of April 12th, Yuri sat inside his tiny capsule at the top of this enormous rocket. Can you imagine waiting there, knowing you're about to do something no human has ever done before? He must have been nervous and excited at the same time. At 9:07 in the morning Moscow time, the engines roared to life. Flames shot out from the bottom of the rocket. The ground shook. The noise was deafening, like 1,000 thunderstorms all at once. And then, slowly at first, the rocket started to lift off. Yuri felt the incredible force pushing him back into his seat as the rocket accelerated faster and faster. As the rocket climbed higher and higher, Yuri famously said in Russian, "Poyakali," which means "let's go," or "off we go." He was so excited. The rocket shot through the clouds, through the atmosphere, going faster and faster until finally, Yuri Gagarin reached space. So what is space exactly? Well, space officially starts about 62 miles above Earth's surface. That's called the Kármán line. Once you cross that invisible line, you're in space. When Yuri crossed it, he became the first human to ever leave Earth and enter the vast universe beyond. From his tiny window, Yuri looked down and saw something no human had ever seen before. He saw Earth from space. He saw the blue oceans, the white clouds, and the curve of our planet. He later said, "The Earth is blue. How wonderful. It is amazing." Imagine being the first person ever to see that view with your own eyes. Absolutely incredible. But Yuri wasn't just floating in space. His spacecraft was orbiting Earth, which means it was traveling in a circle around our planet. He completed one full orbit, going all the way around Earth. The entire journey took about 108 minutes. That's less than 2 hours. In less time than it takes to watch a movie, Yuri went to space, circled the entire Earth, and came back home. During his time in space, Yuri experienced something amazing called weightlessness or zero gravity. Without gravity pulling him down, he floated inside his spacecraft. His pencil floated. His notebook floated. Everything floated. He could do flips in the air if he wanted to. It must have felt like magic. But then came the scary part. Coming back to Earth, the spacecraft had to re-enter Earth's atmosphere and that meant incredible heat and shaking. The outside of the spacecraft got super hot, glowing bright orange from the friction with the air. Yuri was shaken around as the capsule fell toward Earth. At about 23,000 feet above the ground, Yuri ejected from the capsule. That means he shot out of the spacecraft with his parachute. He floated down separately while the empty capsule crashed into the ground. Yuri landed safely in a field in Russia. Some farmers working nearby were the first people to see him. They were shocked. Here was a man in a bright orange spacesuit falling from the sky. Yuri became an instant hero all around the world. He had done something extraordinary. He proved that humans could survive in space. He opened the door for all future space exploration. After Yuri's amazing journey, people knew that space travel was possible. Just a few weeks after Yuri's flight, on May 5, 1961, an American astronaut named Alan Shepard became the first American to reach space. His flight was shorter than Yuri's, lasting only about 15 minutes, but it was still an incredible achievement. The space race was heating up. Then, in February 1962, another American astronaut named John Glenn became the first American to orbit Earth, just like Yuri had done. John completed 3 orbits around our planet. America was catching up in the space race, but Yuri Gagarin will always be remembered as the very first human in space. He was brave, skilled, and made history. Sadly, Yuri died in a plane crash in 1968 when he was only 34 years old. But his legacy lives on forever. There are statues of him, museums about him, and his name is known around the world. After Yuri's historic flight, space exploration exploded. More and more people went to space. In 1969, just 8 years after Yuri's journey, humans landed on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the lunar surface. Can you believe that? From first reaching space to walking on the moon in just 8 years. Since then, thousands of people from many different countries have traveled to space. We've built space stations where astronauts live for months at a time. We've sent robots to explore Mars. We've launched telescopes that can see distant galaxies. And it all started with Yuri Gagarin's brave journey on April 12, 1961. Today, space travel is becoming more common. Companies are even working on space tourism, which means regular people, not just trained astronauts, might be able to visit space someday. Maybe you'll get to go to space in your lifetime. Wouldn't that be amazing? Think about how far we've come, from ancient people just looking at the stars and wondering, to Yuri Gagarin actually going up there and seeing Earth from space, to people living on space stations, to planning trips to Mars. Humans are pretty incredible when we work together and dream big. Yuri Gagarin showed us that even the most impossible dreams can come true if we are brave enough to try. He looked up at the stars and said, "I want to go there," and then he actually did it. He risked his life to explore the unknown and inspire the whole world. So remember, April 12, 1961, is the day humanity took its first giant leap into space. Yuri Gagarin, a 27-year-old cosmonaut from the Soviet Union, became the first human to leave Earth and travel into space. His 108-minute journey around our planet changed history forever and opened up the entire universe for human exploration. The next time you look up at the stars, remember Yuri and his incredible adventure. And remember that the impossible dreams of today might just become the amazing realities of tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll be the first human to do something incredible in space. Thanks for joining me on this journey through space history. Don't forget to check out the description below and try to answer all the questions about when humans first reached space. Can you remember the important dates and names? Give it a shot. If you loved learning about Yuri Gagarin and the first human in space, hit that like button, subscribe to World of Alphas, and turn on notifications so you never miss another amazing adventure. Keep dreaming big, keep being curious, and remember, the sky is not the limit. See you next time, Space Explorers.